opponent's map pick, beat them there, and then lose on their own. That is entirely possible here if MIBR is going to be able to shake off that initial loss.
Well, no surprises so far in the Prime Gaming Agent Select, and Garnet
I'm ready for Garnet's on Neon. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. This guy was fantastic on the Rays. The Neon is going to be really cool to watch as well. FRZ, glad to not see that Chamber history go through. I really like the Cypher pick, especially as an anti-Neon competition. On the defensive side, you can really shut down a player like Garnet. But on the other side, for Talon, I think this is a map where Sushi Boys and Garnets will feel at home. Both the Neon and Killjoy roles on this map give you so much potential to pop off.
Yeah.
RGL, for example, on the smokes. That might make all the difference.
Need something to turn it around. Starting here, map number 2, Talon MIBR, and the desk set it up. This is Talon's map pick. Already leading the series, and wow, what a beginning! Just as we were talking about it, Garnet's just setting us off on a great path. I mean, these 2 kills that he's claimed, the Spike is out of position now on top of it, and you're gonna have to be relying on Frozen with this late lurk down drop to try and bail them out.
Garnet is just straight up diffing the MIBR players.
He's playing without a care in the world.
The Spike is in such a treacherous position currently. And it's not like FRZ can do too much about it either. He really does need to be creating some pressure because I mean, there's 3 players just staring at the Spike.
Let's see Sushi Boys playing that anti-flash position with JCC still alive. One flash available, a deep smoke to see if they can reclaim this one. Stun. Fault line buys him a bit of space. Okay.
Wow.
Exchange of the Spike here before Ox. Oh, the call's been made, and well, just about misses the shot there.
It looked like it was good. I could have sworn that Fox's crosshair was on the head.
Yeah, looks like he should have been good for it, but...
And all of this, all of the stuff that FRZ was doing earlier in the round now might pay dividends. It wasn't necessarily to help the rest of his team, but he's in a position now where he's got a nasty backstab spot potentially.
Staying alive, but a fight has already been taken, and now he needs to get a move on because the weapons are not doing the job.
Oh, he's way too late.
And it is completely not planted for him. Right round the corner. And all Talon have to do is hold it with a double face. 2 will fall, but ultimately the round will go their way. Consolation prize at the end of the day.
Yeah, the crowd are happy about that one, but I don't know if they've looked at the scoreline.
Yeah.
Talon taking that pistol and all sorts of miscoordination there from MIBR. The trade, I mean, non-existent, to be honest, isn't it? Yeah. Garnet just allowed to pluck both of those players off while they're distracted by the turret, and Heat's got a stun bolt in his hand.
One of the things I was most impressed with, actually, looking at MIBR coming into this tournament was, I think, how well they reacted off of information. There was zero hesitancy at times, but so far it feels like Talon are the team that are doing all that.
Yeah, I agree.
It was just such a fast play through the choke point to instantly retake when the Spike was down there.
Absolutely. They're playing much looser.
Yeah.
And I think the desk might be onto something there in terms of the pressure of the crowd actually ended up causing MIBR to stutter in some of their decisions and worry, play with a bit more caution.
Maybe just overthinking the usual game plan. It's a lurk from Heat, but doesn't nail a single shot. Spectre, not the job.
These players in drop are so dead to the flank. Yeah, and it is
pretty tight squeeze there. The Spike's going to be dropped down. So the eco round mopped up easily enough.
And the kills, the ult points, fairly evenly distributed from Talon. But Sushi Boys is getting close to his lockdown. It's not an ultimate that you can do that much with on the defensive side. You know, you can react to use it or use it for a bit of a retake potentially. Especially on B, you've got a good position for it. But it's not one that you're really building an entire defensive game plan around. This is going to be an aggressive defense a lot of the time. And it looks like we're getting some bonus round aggression down through tree.
Yeah. Looks like they're ready for it. Flash over the top. Stun as well. Finding its mark, and it does buy them that space. So Crew's going to be farming up that orb, but they've given up a lot of control of Arcade in the process. The angle not really being watched for with the smoke drop down. Let's see if they can weave their way into tower.
And I like how fluid they are, Brent. Immediately making the decision to take Arcade after they lost tree control. Really decisive.
Has been pushed back though by that utility. And Crew as well. Lays down to Stimmy. I feel like you're never favored when you're holding this rope angle, but how many times have we seen a player just end up falling? Potentially that purpose, and Murray's just waiting a little bit too wide there into that angle. Garnet's no fear at all to take the fight with only the Bulldog. Not much backup in play, and Heat just has to cower in the corner here.
I liked the game plan from MIBR at the beginning of this round, but the spike is still in such a dodgy spot. And these two players, FRZ and RGL, are miles away from the action. Sure, they've got the A spike, but what are you gonna, the A site, but what are you gonna do with it without the spike? I mean, it's such a mess.
Dropping like flies. Heat with the lurk through, 20 seconds remaining. Just trying to contact through, and the angle just watched for. I mean, this is MIBR honestly losing that charm that I think that they had coming into the tournament. You know, we previewing them in their game against Leviathan, another team that's expected to be incredibly strong. They were going toe-to-toe, they were making it very even, but this is a team that really, I think, just needs to pull up the bootstraps at some point.
I think they lack that decisive nature. They're trying to implement too many stops into their play on the attack side. When they took arcade control at the beginning of this round, why not just shove it in?
Yeah.
Try and take that tower control. They paused for too long. They allowed Talon to retake that area of the map, drop the spike in a horrible spot, and it just looked like they had no game plan.
There wasn't that sense of urgency.
And remember, it's been a long time since Morris has been in this position as the IGL. A long time since he was on the stage. Maybe things are just slipping away from MIBR a little bit, but on the other side of things, Talon are reading all of these situations and picking up every opportunity.
Neon Wall is going to split this site up, including that utility. Aftershock into the corner, Heat. It's going to open it up for them, but...
This is so weird again.
Not out of drop yet, it's uncoordinated! JZA just dropped onto the head of Cruz, and okay, eventually they worked their way in, but it took a bit of effort. It was very awkward. No time wasted from Garnet. Drops down the fast lane. The wall's in play. Location going to be revealed in this one, but no one aiming to try and spam those corners, yet still the round will go their way, and eventually, finally, there we go.
It's another half buy. Yeah. It's another Thrifty. Powered by Heat running in through his Neon Wall with a Stinger. And somehow both of the A-site anchors just kind of got bypassed.
Yeah, very disjointed.
Really weird Valorant that we're being treated to here. Take a look at it in the replay and just look. I mean, the way that JZZ just lands on top of Cruz. Comical, and he's got players right behind him too. You know, the fast flank was already coming through at Dish at this point in the round. Yeah. Very odd. Garnet now has an ultimate to work with. 10 seconds into the round already here, as dish pressure applied by MIBR.
It's the same thing that just worked for them on the prior round, so... Flash. Don't think that reveals too much. I'm not too sure if there were that many footsteps, but the space has been gained, and the fast lane can split the side up like we saw in that previous round once more. JZA with the rolling thunder.
Yeah, it's massive ultimates.
Okay.
Great entry from Heat. If they can find Sushi Boys, but he's good for it. Great site anchoring, takes down the entry. And that also takes down the wall. It's going to be much more difficult to get into A.
And it is incredibly tepid, isn't it?
It is so slow, so cautious, yeah. After they get that first pick, they don't decide to explode. They still are really tentative.
Just waiting around, waiting around.
Trying to win the round just by getting picks, and everything's falling apart for them.
They're relying on Frozen to try and take some of that space. That's just not even afforded for him now. Ults are online, big ones for MIBR, but the time is running short now, and they're still contacting into this one. They could make it more reactive play. Yeah, I kind of like this idea from them. They want to try and push them and fight them. Stun the fault line to push them back. Flash forwards, pushes Murray's potentially forwards, but no, still just biding his time with 12 seconds remaining. And look at that, the orbital strike just pushes them away. You're running out of time. And a spike, well, in the hands of Murray's, survives on 30 health, will get that plant down, but the utility is just being used, and he is just dropping like flies. It's so awkward.
You said it earlier, Bren. Pressure does not always make diamonds. It looks like MIBR are crumbling out there. These rounds are slipping away from them in really unusual ways.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of different things that could have been improved there. MIBR, after they got the first kill, this entry, just go. Put the wall down and go. And secondly, I mean, you can see the ultimates. You know that Cruz has his orbital strike online. You've got to be aware that you need time to plant here. That's one of the key parts of Fracture. Getting the spike down is so difficult against Breach ults, against Brim ults, this kind of thing. Against a Raze ult, for example, if you're playing against a different composition. But MIBR taking a timeout, and BZK needs to, actually, it doesn't really feel like what they're doing is failing, or they need to take some kind of strategy adjustment.
An edge to MIBR, yeah.
But a small one. Not even a 60-40 game, in my opinion,
See,
a bit closer than that.
In my opinion, I was thinking it was going to be relatively one-sided for MIBR.
Wow.
So I was seeing something different.
You were hitting up the caipirinhas.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently.
But okay, rifle round on board here, 6-3 the score, as Talon have taken a timeout. What do they adjust? So putting the Neon on the other side of the map now, playing halls. And in these kind of moments, normally, the important thing, if the halls players like FRZ take contact and realize there's a 3-player stack from the defense in halls, Heat is supposed to go and help them all the way through site and go and help and backstab to put pressure on Jit Boys.
Yeah.
Can they identify what the defensive hold looks like, and can they find the right solution?
Smokes drop fast lane as well. There we are pushing through, and it is going to be an attempt to, but at least that pincer, and Heat has been taken care of. Dropped immediately. Still MIBR will be claiming this site. The Rolling Thunder is going to be used without too much backing this up. It's only to try and clear through into halls so that RGL Master can take that space once more. The flash play, it's dodged to the side. Quick reactions from him to be able to stay alive and stay active.
It's a great kill by RGL, and I think it changes the tide of this fight. Sushi Boys with an operator does not want to get involved in this retake particularly, unless Fox finds something, and he can't.
Yeah, slightly off when it comes to the crosshair placement of that re-clear, and now Sushi Boys, not the weapon to retake, as you were saying, Josh, just needs to run away now. But MIBR starting to get a little bit behind them.
And I think Talon's timeout might have helped MIBR there. MIBR need all the help they can get. They need to talk to Bazooka as much as they can.
Yeah.
If he could get wired directly into their comms, they'd go for that. So Talon taking the minute there to speak to the coach on the opposite side, Zeus, I think that's helped MIBR. And the reason that I say that is because you didn't see any of that hesitation. There was no early prodding for a pick. They just took the exec space that they needed, went into the site. Heat went to try and help his players. And yeah, even though Heat dies, they do end up with Hall's control, a good post-plant position, and RGL anticipates that play happening and secures the post-plant. That was just like a on-paper textbook how you attack. Don't decide to explode. A with a Neon from drop. 3-player stack from the defense in halls. You know that Cruz has his orbital strike online.
Really pushed out of position now.
You said it earlier, Brent. Pressure,
the
but a small one.
The staircase there of tower, but now
MIBR
shorty.
He got the shorty.
Caught in the angle, and that is just okay.
Some kind of
Taking
strategy adjustment.
But
a small one.
Claims the kill. Sushi Boy's also just waiting in and out of these smokes. Very dangerous when he does have that shotgun as the secondary, but smokes are going to be fading now, and there was a bit of a moment where they could have fallen. So far, MIBR finding it hard to really gain any sort of space.
I mean, how do you get the plant down? Jitboy is just waiting for the plant noise, and then he's going to send the ult in. I don't think they're going to go for a retake here so much as just flooding in. I mean, and Heat, is he going to try and find space for them to rotate off to A? They're so committed to B.
I think this is just a flank so that he can try and fight through spawn, but there's 45 seconds left in this round, roughly. Cruz is holding for this flank as well. More than aware of this.
That Heat's flank is not going to help them get the spike down, though. It's too
the more
late.
this time gets brought down, the less time they're really going to be having to work with. There's the Rolling Thunder, though. And Frozen tries to play close, tries to play within the safety of his cages, but he's dealt with, and Heat from behind. Now going to be aware of this one. Cruz holding the close angle. They need to just try and clear him up. Sushi Boys eventually returning fire, but he does claim 2. And the crossfires are enough.
And despite the fact that Heat actually found the timing on that, Talon's game plan was way too good.
Yeah.
Again, MIBR not with a real answer for how you get the spike down in that position. Not able to play the map, going for a straight-up site hit, and just reaching a brick wall. Certainly doesn't help. when your KO dies off the rip. Muri's falling. No knife, you know, no counterplay to the breach shot, particularly in terms of suppressing him. 7-4. If MIBR can get this round, it looks like a much better half.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more respectable. Final round of this first half.
But the weaponry is so poor.
Ash for the jump peek. Rifle's going to be exchanged, and it's helped him out massively. Sushi Boys having to wait and skip and hop and avoid all that utility. There was an aftershock at his feet, but he stays alive. And the pressure gets relieved there. Just a smoker drop. That's all that was needed.
Garnet is in a position to completely crush this.
Just trying to take the peek there. I don't think there was any utility off of it.
Missed the shot. And now the question is, do the defenders start flooding into B? Because if so, FRZ's got a good timing. Can he allow this alarm bot to go down? Nope.
Okay.
It spotted him.
Yeah, it does spot him indeed. It's a re-clear through tunnel again by MIBR now with 50 seconds.
And you could argue that this opens up a bit of space for MIBR over on the B side, but the defenders are just going to be split evenly. At some point here, Morris just has to call for them to commit. This must be a B side execute.
That's a good first kill with Garnet's falling.
30 seconds
Grand
left.
scheme of things there for them.
25
They
seconds.
need to react off of this, man. I mean, listen, they don't have a lot of time to work with.
Foxy still has the KO nade.
They're only just working their way into the site. There's going to be 15 seconds left. The spam coming through. When is the spike going to start to get planted?
Oh, he got
JCC?
suppressed.
Yeah, moves backwards, just goes and plays within the safety here. Tucks into the pocket, so they will eventually get it. But there we go. It's a common enough angle. And spam through the smoke will do it. Now to lockdown.
Orbital strike to answer.
So RGL Meister will have something for this one. There it is. Answered in kind. Murray's taking a fight. Rather inopportune time. And that's frozen. Late lurking, finding his target. Two players just trying to make the most of it now as Talon again working their way forward. It's a flash to try and potentially re-clear this. There was util out in his hand. The tap on the spike. And the re-clear off to the side. Enough for them. The 5th round finally claimed in this half here for MIBR. And it is going to be more respectable.
Definitely. That's the only thing that saves them. This half, again, looked like MIBR were getting battered every time they tried to stand back up. But 7-5 is good enough. If they can win the pistol, this is still a respectable scoreline. I gotta say though, it feels still like Talon are in control. And MIBR are grasping at straws. They've just managed to pluck out the long straw in that final few rounds.
And so far, the edge just really in the side of Talon's camp. But map number 2, the first half is done. Let's find out what the desk has to say. Bit of a pivot now from Talon. Biding their time, they slow it down once more, and it's a bit of a re-clear, as you can see, towards that arcade area.
But then an instant commitment.
This trip is really interesting, actually. It's for the canteen push. No, okay.
Wow. They
And
spotted it.
Okay, spotted, aware. Playing around this one to a degree. That plant location is a little bit out in the open, and this reflank by MIBR has already found some decent value. Cruz, though, holding close to the corner. It's going to be cleared. Enough damage done to Heat. Falls relatively easily, and it's going to be that double swing dealt with.
Very well played by Cruz. FRC looking to re-clear the reflank. And MIBR are coming back into this, 3v2.
Yeah, there's a lot of tempo. The back end of this one, being able to take control of this site, but they need to start to get the fuse online. I believe the post-plant utility being played here. Cruz did have that. Molly, Sushi Boys found. And it's out in the open, but a miracle is going to be needed. A bit of spam, but he just doesn't know the angle in time, and a flash will finish it off, won't it? Enough for them to win out that pistol round, and MIBR one step closer to clawing it up to a bit more of an even scoreline.
That is the lifeline that MIBR needed. Absolutely. The devs were talking about how important this pistol round was. And it should get them up to a 7-7 scoreline. And considering they weren't in control of this map for the first, I don't know, 9 rounds, makes a big difference. And you see the Talon game plan here, broadly speaking, is going to be to get quickly onto sites and then play post-plant utility. There's more to it, obviously, but that's going to be a big factor.
Oh, wow. Okay. Little
And we
force
just-
by coming. There's been a couple of teams that have been trying this at the event, despite the fact that we do have the Stinger nerfs live.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, if you get the plant down, why not? A bit of extra money can offset it, and well, double swing through, but MIBR come up with the much better outcome.
Yeah, and Garnet slow to punish the Halls player. So, whereas we saw the same exec from MIBR, they were able to take Halls control. I mean, Garnet is in Halls right now, but he always has to be worried about JZZ.
They have retaken that control, as you said. Now, the players out in the open. Knife close, stun. Fox really nowhere to really play towards, just trying to hug the close wall to make sure he survives, but he doesn't dodge the flash in time, and that is well executed.
Another big round by JZZ too. Didn't really have the biggest performance on Haven. He was mostly just playing Fade, following Heat around, trying to support him. But now that he's on Breach and he's able to play these positions where he's getting to Rifle, man, he's having an impact. This play for Halls, the trade is great, but then his decision to drop so far back forces these Talon players into it. And he just picks a great angle and annihilates them both with a Bulldog. Excellent play.
Yeah. Really.
That's another massive bonus for MIBR, is that their economy starts to bloom.
Because of that force that Talon ended up opting for, yeah, you're right. Keep the bonus going. Start to work towards that momentum. Maybe turn the side of this. Man, Murray's though was out in the open.
Careful.
Yeah, can't be making mistakes like that, because especially against the Sheriffs, your head might just get taken off here. And speaking of it, well, Fox, nice little angle that he was finding there from Heat. The util to push back out of tower, but no real bite behind it.
And Fox went back for a second bite of the apple. JZZ punishes him for it. It's B that's under pressure though, whether MIBR know it or not. And tower is going to be somewhere that FRC has to look towards in a moment.
Careful, surely. Glide to the side, not really much follow-up, and easily cleaned. Frozen really just doing some decent damage from on high. That anchor position.
And it's nice, it's clean, it keeps a lot of stuff alive for MIBR. So they've got a good delayed bonus round here in round 16. And the only thing that would have been even better for them is if JCZ had gotten one of those kills, because he's one away from that Breach ultimate.
Does feel like everything's going their way.
Can they play for one of these orbs? Can they try to push JZZ and Heat aggressive somewhere? Dish, for example, doesn't look like it. The fault line required to control Halls.
Not likely. It's a shallow stun. It's a alternate path, I think, honestly, for the Neon, just because she can get past it really quickly. But Talon just waited out, and now they're going to be starting to re-hit through, taking control of Sand. There are players waiting for them. See what MIBR can really do about this one. The answer is quite a bit. Doubled up, playing inside the smoke. The weaker guns, it matters not. Flash round the side. It is a nice dodge from Sushi Boys, and he's still alive in the action. Orbital strike right on top of their heads. Frozen will be dealt with. They back away. They bide their time for a little bit longer. Talon not too willing to jump into the fray. Not when there's so many unknowns on that side.
This was a 3v5 though, and Talon found a couple of kills without having to strain or stretch themselves. On Haven, so many of these 3v3, 2v2 scenarios went the way of Talon. They just got players into strange positions. Here, deciding to cut noise, makes the defenders spread out, and now JCC has got to step up. He's been good for it so far, and he is again.
That's beautiful. The guy's coming alive, truly. Not going to be able to use too many abilities, but still locking down this angle, and he's bought precious time for the rest of his team to come in. It's just a contact play from the Talon guys, seeing what they can get done. What a swing by Fox. The stun, it's a little bit late, but the spray down, and Heat doesn't really just back him up, making sure that there's safety in numbers. And it truly does feel like MIBR are running away with this one.
I can see some silent Famo screams there. It was a great shutdown as the sight hit came through. I think FRZ getting trapped in the orbital strike is not optimal, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's probably a bit bold as well for Maurice to go searching towards Sands on his own, but how they dealt with that sight hit initially coming through.
Get those weapons in their hands, but could cook up something a little bit cheeky, maybe.
If Talon do find an opening kill or two with these 4 Sheriffs and a Guardian, the Breach ult has no answer. Jitboy still holding on to this one. Yeah, the knife finds everything.
It's delayed across the map, and it catches onto, I believe, 4 of them.
Bot coming back.
But Talon are pretty fine here, just spreading out, trying to look for picks. And I don't think... It's not like MIBR should be too worried in this round at all, but we've seen so many Thrifties exchanged in the series. Thrifties, half-buys, that kind of thing.
Spike drop.
And Sushi Boys has just diffused one of the trap wires over towards Tree. Looks like the other one might be taken out over a dish now, too.
Finding that easy kill. All the extremities really being watched for, with the exception of Drop. That was really opened up for them. An angle being found. Garnets, what is that shot? A start, another flash to push him back, and he wants to take the refight. Guy's reloading. Heat. Flash as well, trying to play off of it as well. Fox is attempting to assist. What is that? Reset 1-2, one side to the other. And he's still holding on to this Guardian. Could be doing some decent damage with the spike planted, but dropped down. It's down onto Cruz, honestly. What can he get done? And he hears him, finds him. They know what RGL is now, but is that 1v2? And it's his clever play. The discipline there by RGL not to wide swing that one. Plays his life really nicely.
And it does get dangerous for MIBR, but this is the first time that we've seen them get a substantial lead. 10-7. The next rifle round deciding so much. Foxy made them work for that one with the double Guardian kill, but I think they had this one wrapped up as soon as the plant isn't really for where Cruz is playing. And a much quieter map too for Cruz. Now that he's not playing the lurking role and just more playing where his team needs him, he looks like his former self. If this goes to map 3, keep that in mind, but for now, big clash at Arcade. Both Neons heading straight in.
Oh, fighting straight up.
Spike down.
Going absolutely man for man with the flashes over the top, but it is Talon who come out on top. But the spike has been dropped behind them, and MIBR is an instant reaction from them. This is what I wanted to see. There's no hesitation in this play. Taking up that space on the north side, but a smoke's dropped down. They are a little bit awkward. There is a gap, I believe, in play, but still JSA just wants to play inside of it.
FRZ got a god timing there. He managed to slip past Sushi Boy's turret just as Sushi Boy's retracted it. So they have no clue that FRZ is here. Unfortunately, I mean, he's gonna hear those steps.
Okay, the entire team.
Oh.
Talon just opting into trying to noise bait, I think, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
That was some
running.
footsteps and then just gonna be walking back.
Wow, they've sold that so well. Not just noise baiting, but actually sending a full player over there to put down the turret. It really sells it.
Oh, it
Makes it
sells
feel
it
like this is
massively.
an A-hit completely.
This plant's gonna go down for free.
And what an open post-plant position that they can get.
Big ults online for the post plant as well. That orbital strike. It's gonna be nice for them. Sushi Boy stand up. Okay. Not the first time we've seen that one, almost just wrapped up the round for them.
And this would have been a tough 2v2 retake had Sushi Boys been found. But as it is, it's an impossibility. Talon once more coming out on top when both teams clash and a trade situation happens. I think they've done that every time. And then also finessing a really crucial, 4v3, 3v3 kind of moment.
Spike down. B.
It's hyper intelligent in the moment there to just try and bait with the footsteps. And push Sushi Boys into this advanced position, like you said. Prior, he puts down the turret and really sells it.
Next round, vitally important. Whoever loses this, they're going to be knocked down onto a weird bye, and there are major ults to play with all over the place. MIBR, though, don't have the most important two that they can use to deny the spike plant. So should be Talon favored. The question is in the execution.
The coffers are full when it comes to the ultimates. A stun, no command. This is where you see that tempo increased. Inside the fast lane, Sushi Boys just holding the one side of it just in case, but they have not cleared tower yet. And what is that?
Just spam? I think maybe a trap onto Garnet.
Whatever it might be, definitely got the job done, and that movement is just far too clean. The bait and switch, Cruz just cannot find a clean target. Despite the spike being down, what more can be awarded for them? Sushi Boys doesn't lose his nerve in a moment. He does claim the easy kill for them, but they need a bit more than that, and that might just be enough. Now on top is the tower.
Oh,
Flash
my
play. Spray down, but Frozen does again get that trade. And now there's a lockdown.
It's not a great position, though.
Let's push them away from the spike, though. They won't be able to stick this. Time has been bought. There is a crossfire now. JCC needs to win this fight now, locking it down. He was weak though. Half wanted to defuse. Sushi Boys waiting, and it's a full stick! But not enough done. Talon win it with the Red Bull clutch, and they silence the crowd.
What a play, what a clutch by Sushi Boys. The timing could not have been more perfect. That is some fresh fish in the clutch. That is fresh. I've also got to give credit there really to, you see how those first 2 kills happen from RGL, and FRZ did a great job. He's playing on the opposite side to his trap wires, so he doesn't get caught by Fox's ult. So the defensive game plan there really did work from MIBR, but look at the reaction from Bazooka. I mean,
slipped away.
What a heartbreaker. What a big play from Sushi Boys.
And Josh, you said it, such an important round to win prior, because look at this economy now from MIBR. They have rounds to work with in terms of just having that bit of buffer. It's a fault line. This is a very risky play, but why not take risks when the weaponry is this bad? And okay, util is going to be used now. That's that discipline from Talon, making sure that they do deal with heat.
And Heat is alone, isolated so much more than Garnet is. Whether it's his decision-making or not being on the same page as his team backing him up, I feel like Garnet's always got his team tight, filling that space.
Yeah. And
Heat tends to challenge alone a little bit more of a loose cannon. Can MIBR win this round? They still have quite a bit of, good ultimates, a weapon in here too. The round's not over.
Garnet?
What?
He's just wading his way all the way through into their spawn and trying to watch for him. He's got it pulled down, still
There's no
taking
way.
the fight, just running and gunning. And he finds the 2 kills. Argelmeister got no choice but to try and counteract it, try and take the fight. But it's the bait and switch. He's just bought so much time, so much space.
He is an absolute menace, Brad.
Not a care in the world, is it? Not a care in the world.
He's one of the most fun rookies that I've ever watched on the big stage.
There's something about this team, this core roster, whatever it is, just puts that whimsy into that primary duelist player. Gotta be careful not to let this round get out of hand, but with the ultimates that Talon do have, the positioning as well, you can already see that Cruz is just taking the necessary measures. He's already just backing into their spawn so that he can just orbital strike if it gets rough.
It would be great here for Morris and RGL to get a couple of kills. It would have economic implications.
Do take that double swing, but time.
Jitboy, for example, now only has light armor or a bad weapon. It's not that they're trying to win the round, but just try and make things easier for yourself now that things are locked up 10-10.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Cruz has got enough to drop actually as well for Jitboy, so I don't think there will be any problems here with the buy. But MIBR are finally back in a position 10-10 after a 3-round slip up where they can attempt to make something happen. RGL and JCC's ultimates gonna be important. Looks like a bit of a north side crunch, although those B players aren't going too aggressive.
That utility being thrown near the beginning. Bit of a default, but there is no presence from MIBR in A halls. It's actually free game, and Fox has realized it. Look at this, just Knife doesn't spot anything, works his way in. A lot of space for free, and if MIBR try and perform some sort of reaction off of it, JCC is not exactly in the greatest of position to react with a fault line. In fact, it doesn't even have it off cooldown. Does have the ult though. I wonder if that's what they're going to be trying to play for now as the fast lane goes up. Smike in the hands of Garnet. Goes for that plant in the safe corner. Nothing to disrupt it.
Look how absurdly safe Cruz is playing. He has a molly lineup, he has orbital strike.
He's so far in their spawn.
He has no intention of being caught by Murray's ult. Okay, so here it comes, the null command. And Cruz, miles away.
And this refight in halls is going to be so important now. The Rolling Thunder cuts across, and that is going to be the 1 kill found. Fox out of position now. It's up to his team to find it. What is that? Jitboy's just pulling out an absolute miracle with that one. The old 1-2 punch. And listen, the ultimate pushes them away from the spike. The round is claimed, but honestly just felt like divine intervention in that moment.
What an insane map by Jitboy. I feel like he looked a little lost on Haven.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just him warming up to the stage. But oh my word, These unexpected players are taking turns on Talon to step up right when their team needs them to. The stun spray down, I don't think I've seen anything like that. Both headshots connecting.
Insanity.
So unfortunate for MIBR.
Yeah, that is just pure luck at a draw in terms of coming out with 2 kills there.
But I'll be honest, again, participate anymore.
And a difficult decision made by MIBR. Not spending all their money. Instead, going for the half buy, understanding that they have less odds of being able to make it 11 to 11. Instead, playing for that OT.
That's a brutal decision.
And just the players holding one and dones. I mean, Heat just in the close corner, opting not to try and trade that kill as it came out. Holding it, hoping that it wasn't going to get cleared. Frozen seeing what he can do, but okay, another little refight. Talon, though, are just far too in control, and the shot's just whiffing wide. Gunner's running rings around them. The door opened up. Pop flash play. Well, you caught yourself in the moment. Matters not, though.
Talon have 2 attempts to send MIBR packing. And one of the big problems with taking an eco there, Bren, I'm not criticizing the decision too much, but one of the big problems is that you don't drag out the ultimate from Cruz. That orbital strike for the post plant has just been hovering like a sword over MIBR's head the entire time.
Yeah.
They need to fight them. They need to stop these rounds from being post plant retake scenarios. But even that is dangerous when Garnet is just zipping his way into you.
Stun, I think, should connect with him. Yeah, you can see him blinded up, slowed for but a moment. A glide to the side, another stun down at his feet. That's an orbital strike being used aggressively. They saw players onto the site. They wanted to take the fight to them, but an absolute miracle. The spray down, JZZ. What more can you do? He's already claimed 3 down, but dropped to the knees.
Can they deny the res? Here comes
Trying
Heat.
to go for this one yet. This is an attempted to deny. It needs to be a big one. A flash over the side. It is well supported. The doors open wide, and MIBR, they stay alive.
It's another miraculous round from JZZ. 23 and 16 right now. About to get another ultimate online. I mean, look at what he does here again.
This is
The spray down.
You can't ask anymore. You can't ask anymore.
He's doing everything for MIBR. When Heat is struggling, JZZ is stepping up. One chance to take it to OT.
One chance to stay alive in this tournament. It's a kill trip. Frozen's rewarded. And Odeganis has been playing towards sand in that moment. It comes off really nicely. Still the trade. MIBR still in this for but a moment longer. Heat with the wrap around the flank. Finding his target still. You can't overheat in this moment though. MIBR, they had an advantage, but it's slipping away from them.
The crowd thought that was it. They thought we were headed to OT, and now suddenly tension descending
It's
upon the
just
place.
an instant dampener. The spike's going to be planted. There's nothing to offset this one, and the Rolling Thunder is in the hands of Jip Boys.
The breach battle all comes down to this, doesn't it? They've both been so good all map. Does Jip Boy find the timing?
One kill to really get his own ult online. It's going to be the stun working its way across. Rolling Thunder to push back that one avenue. Heat. It does connect. Time running low. A flash to push them back once more. The fragment nade. All the utility being used to just delay an MIBR. It's a heartbreaker. Planning around the corner. The time running so low. It needs everything and it will not happen. Talon, they upset the hometown team and they take it in 2 maps.
What a performance from the Pacific team. They're known for upsets. And you can see it all just landing on Cruz there. The realization that they are through into the next round, facing off against EG. MIBR sent home.